Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their company. Today, we're excited to have Brian Reichert, the CEO of Fast Forward Marketing, joining us. Brian will be sharing more about his founding story and giving us a glimpse into his future plans, really for that dental marketing space. So let's jump right in, Brian. Welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm very excited to be on this. It's in my 36 years of dental industry career. This is a new thing to us, if I may say. To you, maybe old hat, but in our world, we're so focused, laser focused on doing what we do on a daily basis. We don't really stop to smell the roses and you would take in maybe, hey, our journey may help other people. So thank you very much for recognizing us. And we love what we do.
Yes, absolutely. We are so excited to have you here. So, Brian, really, can you just take us back to the beginning? What
Sure.
specific problem really inspired you to start Fast Forward Marketing in the dental marketing space?
I would say that's an awesome question, and I can make this really quick. So I haven't moved around a lot. My journey in the dental space started with I owned a dental lab and loved it. I was a dental technician and did, have my college degrees and went down the path of actually becoming a dentist. And the only component that I was missing was the art side. I really loved the art end of it, and the dental technician side fulfilled that. And I got involved with a dental laboratory and then became owner and part owner. And then we built that up so successfully that somebody offered to buy it. I'm talking almost 38 years ago. It's almost like a lifetime ago. From that point, there were materials and there's things within the technology, within what I was doing that I really loved. And I noticed in my field that there wasn't a lot of innovation. It was by the book, the way you were trained, and you just did it day after day. And that's how the process rolled for a very long time. I got approached by a company that I was actually beta testing products for. And it was a small company. They were called E&D Dental, and they were out of New Jersey. I was a Jersey boy, and got doing some work with these guys. And they said, "Hey, we have an idea for a new product, and there's really nothing else out there like it. And would you be interested in possibly taking what you did for us on the beta testing side and possibly helping out market this new product, bring it to life? It's new and it's innovative, and we really want to branch out the whole product segment." I said, "Great, let's do this." And so I got involved in that. So I went from owning a dental lab to helping a company create chemistries for surface disinfect and market them, and then branding them. And then the rest of the world knows that product as Cavi right now. Karen, I know you have some experience in the dental world.
I've been to the dentist a lot, if that's what you're
Okay.
asking. I know a lot about it. Spent a lot of time there as a kid. My parents put a lot of money into me, and I'm so grateful for it.
It would be like me saying, do you like Mercedes Benz? That's the impact that Cavi had on the planet. Really, it's a global product. I think it's up to about $4 billion right now. So that here I am, a young guy involved. So that product did very extremely well, so well that a large company, Cybron Kerr, purchased E&D Dental after some years that we got the product going and really cooking out there in the whole dental platform. And then even a version of it took off in medical. We also put out the first Flowable composite. Karen, you would know that because of when you go to the dentist and you had a chip or a filling and they just ooze that material in and then they light cure it. That's a composite. We put out the first Flowable composite. So there were I guess I was involved in two groundbreaking, instrumentally innovative products that I was blessed to be a part of. From that, I stayed on with Kerr to be an E&D product specialist. And then when that contract ran out, making this really quick for you, there was a company courted me called SS White Dental. SS White is the oldest dental company in the world. They're 200, almost 200 years old. They took me on as national accounts, special markets, core accounts. Basically, I helped develop the top end of the company to be more nimble with our dealers and branch out into special markets, which is your DSOs, what DSO is, and also other large government develop their sales force and things like that. So I wore a lot of hats for 18 years. So I was with them for 18 years. And that's where I got to the point where, Karen, I was in and out of airports on this Ferris wheel of business. We have in the dental manufacturing world, there's 4 large dental dealers. I was visiting them all. They're mega size companies. And what was happening was I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm was very involved in the company's business and growth and expansion. And we quadrupled the size of the company in my tenure, to the point where, as I'd be traveling to select we call them national accounts, sitting in the waiting room to meet with the VIPs of each of those companies, the national accounts, I'd always be sitting next to somebody from another manufacturer who would be another person like myself, meeting with folks on either marketing end or sales development side of each of those dealers. And they say, man, I need a guy like you. I just can't afford a guy like you. So I kept getting this over and over again. And the light bulb finally went off, where why help one when you can help many? And that's really where the fast forward marketing piece came from. And it just stuck with me. And I had to do it. And I spoke and again, I'll go back to the Ferris wheel, and literally on the road, eating badly, living in airports, driving all over the place. And it just became very taxing on my life and lifestyle. This thought of why help one when you can help many. And I helped SS White really triple the size of their company. And I talked to my boss, which was the CEO and owner of the company. And I said, I need to take a step back. I need to rein back in my life and where this is all going. I actually shared my idea with my boss at the time, with my direct report, again, which was the owner and CEO of the company. And they were, you know what, Karen, they were really supportive. I'd been with them for 18 years. I could have gone on and been with them for another 18, God willing. And my direct report said, go for it, man. And let's just promise me, possibly we can work again. And I said, great. And so from that point, I called just about everybody I was in the waiting rooms with at those national account dealers. And they all said, when can you start?
Amazing.
So Karen, overnight, I had a full roster. Wow. So my idea was to design my company so it looked like a pie wheel of, are you familiar with Kerr or Dentsply or those larger companies, or 3M?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so a company like 3M has products in many categories, shaped like a pie wheel, right? Restorative, anesthetic, on and on, infection control. So I designed my company to not overlap, but to complement each other, a complete circle. Hand pieces, rotary, infection control, PPE, water treatment. If you walk into a dental practice and you did a 380 and looked around, I want to design a company that reflected every product that was in a dental practice. And that's basically what I did. The need was there. And guess what? None of those companies had anybody that were going after the segments, deep into the segments that I was looking to help them with. So I fit a complete and total need. And that's really where it came from. So fast forward to now, and I still have, I would say, 80% of those original clients that I had 15, 16 years ago, going on 16 years.
Fascinating. That says a lot.
So sorry to give you all that in a fire hose, but that's it's really how it happened. And I will say, Karen, it's exactly how it continues to happen. I don't advertise. I don't put it out there. people find me. I have not only recruiters, but like people from other companies that just heard I'm like the go-to for select. A company may want to dive deeper, or they have a hole, or they recognize a part in their government federal business that just, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to go after it. They don't know what it's worth. They don't know how to go after it, and they don't know how it all works.
Mhm.
So that's been my mission, is to hold companies' hands right through to the finish line of that business, and also bring a ton of it in the door, because the relationships I have, they're over 36 years. So there isn't much that I can't not bring off the table. And Karen, man, I wore so many hats at SSY, and I learned so many different facets of the inner workings of everything from national account dealers to national accounts, like the large DSOs, government, federal, dental, laboratory, veterinary. I got exposed to it all. And my passion was I wanted to be good at all of it. I wanted to know everybody in every aspect of that. I'm a relationship guy. And that's the other thing I really bring to the table is my relationships over 36 years. And I pride myself as being a fixer, and in some parts, maybe even a peacemaker. I've been in situations where companies had a rift with a certain segment, and they didn't talk to each other for years. And then I put that piece back together, and all of a sudden the mothership's plugged in and the business starts flowing again. A matter of fact, I'll end with this, Karen. So remember I told you about my boss, the CEO and owner of SS White, that said, hey, supported me 100%. Go do what you got to do. Remember that?
Yes.
They hired me back as a client. So tell me that isn't full
Full
circle.
circle. Yeah.
And I was with them, and for the last almost 7 years. They recently got acquired by another large company. And sometimes the new company, they don't get it. They don't understand, and they don't know you. They don't know what you did for the last 18, 20 years. So it's all good. And I will tell you that never be afraid when things change like that. Because if that weren't to happen, I have two new clients now that are just outstandingly amazing. You may not, when things happen like a merger or an acquisition, and hey, man, in dental, that's what's happening. There's a lot of consolidation. So we have to, as professionals, we have to roll with it and not see it as a roadblock. Sometimes it's a big window open. What happened to me?
Yeah.
And that's the plain and simple of it.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about opportunities. You don't
Yeah.
know what will come from it, but you have to follow that, especially if you feel it, right?
Yeah, I knew in my heart. I knew when that door was closing, I just sat back and said, okay, let's see what comes next. And I am not kidding. Literally a day later, my cell phone rang and it said, hey, I've been thinking about talking to you about doing this from this company. I'm like, oh my God, you're not just some company, you're one of the largest companies in the dental business
Mm.
with 13 brands.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right. This will keep me busy.
Yeah, Brian, this has been absolutely fascinating. I've learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners have as well. I want to dig into the nuts and bolts of
Sure.
everything. And so, can you walk us through how fast forward marketing generates revenue today? And really, what is that core service offering and pricing model? Because I know you explained it a little bit, but I want to dive in deeper there.
Yeah, obviously there's a little bit of secret sauce in there, but I will tell you that. So you want to know how we source new clients, or
How are you working with your clients first?
working with my client? Oh, okay. When you go to a restaurant and you see a menu,
Yes.
that's basically how we verbalize that, obviously. And there's a lot involved as far as it comes with. Generally, I stay within what I've been doing for the last 36 years, which is national accounts, special markets. There's a lot in there, right? The national account thing that's a big bag, right? Because there's interaction with the national accounts, developing national accounts, and then getting those national accounts to the finish line on certain segments. Then there's special markets. Special markets is an even bigger bag. It's important that I explain this to you just so you understand how I price things out. And that's a pretty big bag right there, because that is government, federal, DSO, mid-market, VA, DO, DOD, DLA, on IHA, on and on. And then there's other segments, that specialties, we call them, that also filter in there as well. If you said to me, if you were a new client, and you said, no, I just want you to focus in on government, I have a price tag for that. Karen, it's all time and energy, right?
Mhm.
So that's how we have to factor in how much, what's involved in, as far as how would you price something like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, to put a finer point on it, remember I told you that none of my companies overlap, right?
Mhm.
And remember I told you about my working with SS White and with Kerr and before that, right? So with those two companies, so Kerr had, with the E&D product segment that I was involved in, there was only about 50 products, right? 50 SKUs, let's call them. And then at SS White, we really had about 1,500 SKUs, right? So if you put all my fast forward companies together, all that, right? There's about 2,000 SKUs all together. So I'm operating like I would for one company. So the good news about that is that everybody gets a full-time guy. So I've arranged the time, space in my company so that every day I'm working every one of those companies every day like a full-time person at a fraction of the cost. So I'm not, when a new client, existing client, I'm hired on, there's a simple contract involved. I call it a written handshake. It's very simple. It's a one pager. Basically, it just spells out what I do for you and how I'm compensated, and away we go. So everything I do, Karen, is turnkey. Been doing it for 36 years. Just tell me what you want done and it gets done. And I show you how it gets done. And then we look at matrix all the time on how all that stuff is getting done. Uh,
Beautiful.
so that's basically how I price it out is, oh, you want me just to do that? Okay, there's that. I'll say the smart companies say, do it all. Just
Mm.
do it all, because I will tell you this, that in my spectrum of responsibility, there's opportunities here, there's opportunities here, there's opportunities here in the middle. You want it all, right? You want me to, my suggestion to new clients is, let me play with the whole mix. I'm going to show you what I'm bringing to the table on a daily basis. I'm going to show you what's happening, where you're missing the boat, and where we can pick up, where the low-hanging fruit is, all that kind of good stuff. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And on that note, with acquiring those clients, I know you mentioned that most of the clients you have been reoccurring, you're still working with them. And
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, you said you haven't done any type of ads or like marketing for your business, right?
Yeah, forgive me if I use this term, but it would be cheesy. Only because now that's not, let's take off the table that we do a lot of social media, right? And we do every trade show I'm at, every new product, everything. I do a lot of social media free, 100% free, added in as a client add-on for every one of my FFM family of companies. But no, I would say, and please, this, hopefully this doesn't come off the wrong way, but the dental industry is quite small. I think we're an industry that really gets along with one another, and we generally like each other. I can tell you, Karen, in 36 years, I haven't met anybody in the dental industry that you couldn't get along with or whatever. It's one of those career blessings that I am so glad that I took that first step from. I could have went in a completely different direction
Right.
30 years ago, but I'm just so glad God put me on this journey and I just rode that wave, and that's just how it happened. But no, to your point, the marketing aspect of an ad or something like that, that's not something that clientele that I'm looking to work with or is in my space operate. They don't operate like that. I'll just leave it with this. It's 1000% word of mouth. It's who's got a good mechanic. I know this guy. And it's the same thing in dental. We need to grow we're looking to take this product into medical. Who the heck even does that? I know this guy. He's been around for 36 years. And you don't have to, I'm not hire fire situation, right? They bring me on as a 1099. I do what I got to do. I can tell you in 16 years of fast food marketing, maybe two clients, I'll say four clients got sold. Four clients got sold, and I was included with the sale. And also, even when there wasn't room for my services, somebody from that situation hired me on the other side. So that's why, Karen, it's so important, that we all play nice with each other. There's no burnt bridges. We're all professionals, and you're gonna be where you're gonna end up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to dive into your team and like your sales team. I know you mentioned that you have recruiters. So can you dive into that for me? Tell me a little bit about that.
Let me just clarify. Fast forward marketing, we keep it small. So it's me and another social media person who does that's all they do is social media. And all they do is they take care of a lot of the nuts and bolts that are just too cumbersome for me, too granular for me. So they handle those things, and it's quite good because, believe it or not, I will share this with you. We're actually expanding into other areas. See, that's what happens when you're a sociable person and have passion for what you do. That's interchangeable, Karen. You can take that and use that in other things. Now we're in the hospitality business, meaning there are marketing and business development is universal, right? So we got contacted by a restaurant chain and said, I love seeing your posts on this dental platform, and I love seeing what you're doing over there. Did you ever think of helping out a company on this side? I love food. Don't you? And so a dear friend that owns a chain of restaurants said, hey, we're opening up in a new market in your backyard. Would you be interested in being our brand ambassador? I said, that's right. And it's just a different name in dental. So it's no skin off my back. There's plenty of room. Karen, there's plenty of room at fast forward marketing. When I was telling you about the SKU numbers, right? I'm used to dealing with upwards of close to 5,000. I'm still at a 2,000 mark. There's plenty of room. So, meaning like my day is put into compartments so that everybody gets a full-time person, right? And then that also gives us time to develop new things for our clients. We always want to constantly bring value, and we always it's just, I can't even tell you the best feeling in the world is finding that nugget, that huge deal, that one thing. I'm working on something right now, right before this call, extremely large state and local gov agency, because the government's flush with cash right now at this point of the cycle. And something came up for a handful of my companies where I could put them all into this special opportunity. And this is going to mean millions for my companies, millions.
Oh, incredible.
It's so cool and that happens all the time, Karen. That happens all the time. There's always, and that's what, when you develop relationships that are lifelong and new ones. I'm dealing with procurement people on the government sector and in the Army, the Navy, the state and local side. Indian healthcare has been a blessing for me. It is so cool to work with our tribal leaders. I know this, you're getting more of the fire hose here. It is just, and they're so grateful. And especially on the dental lab end, they're just so grateful that somebody understands their lingo, understands how it works. Because when you're dealing with government agencies, especially on like the IHA side or IHS side, which is Indian healthcare, I'm just giving you one little nugget there, and especially on the state and local side, they literally talk their own language when we're going down the road of developing new business and bringing in to the fold all my companies. Because think about it, every one of these agencies, every one of these national accounts need what my companies make on a daily basis. So why not just make that experience better? Why not just keep on, not just letting it flow, not just let gravity take its course, really dig in and take advantage of the low hanging fruit and the new business.
Yeah, Brian, that is everything that you've said is fascinating. I've learned so much. I know our listeners have as well. Before we wrap up, though, I want to ask you one more question that I think would be very beneficial to everybody listening. But what's the best piece of advice that you've received about scaling a business in a niche industry like dental marketing?
Like dental marketing, I would say do your homework. And the answer, there's, first of all, I love problems. I love solving problems. I would say, I think there's more value in being a problem solver than just continuing down the road of looking for new business or possibly looking at what the dental industry or medical industry needs next. Karen, there's so many problems, there's so many roadblocks out there that exist in the way of new and existing business all by itself, that I would say for anybody looking at this business, it's not perfect, but there are people that can fix these things. And I don't care what it is. I've never in 36 years, and Karen, I've been thrown a lot at me. And nothing scares me. Nothing freaks me out. Anytime a company's, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. This is going to kill this end of the business. And it always turns out, if you just dive deep into that, like really look at why that problem happened, it always gives you answers, right? And what I always say is success leaves clues, right? And so I always find a way to find out what success I had in the past or something that broke in the past that actually resembles this issue. And there's, in life, we're not given a roadmap, but if you really think about it, there's ways that you can connect past things, issues, problems. And I welcome them, Karen. I welcome them every day. I would say for those out there looking at situations within their companies, it could be staffing. It could be, do I have the right people? It could be, how do we go after this business? You may look at those as problems. I look at those as opportunities. Absolutely have a passion for taking those things apart and quickly making a resolve for those and a path forward to fix it, permanently fix it. Remember I told you I got hired back at SS White? There was a problem. I was hired back because of a problem, like a earth-shattering problem where people were, this is a large company, they had under 1,000 people working for them, and they were getting ready to lay people off. That's how serious this problem was. And I said, give me 3 months, I will fix it. And I went in there and I fixed it. And guess what? I was there for 7 years after that. So always don't run from problems, run towards them. I'll do it all day long. I'm going to do it right after this call.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys, from Brian himself. Be a problem solver and see those problems as opportunities. And so that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. I want to thank Brian for sharing his incredible journey and insights with us today. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their sales and marketing efforts through world-class systems and playbooks. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.